Hey guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Random Watch Dude. Now I've got a special episode today. It's kind of a part two. You may have seen the video that I recorded quite recently where I took you watch shopping down Queen Street in Auckland here in New Zealand. And of course you will have noticed towards the end of that video that I stumbled across a Rolex Deepsea in solid gold. And I was rather lost for words. Now I did manage to get my hands on that watch as well. I walked in. This is Partridge Jewellers on Queen Street. They actually own and run a Rolex Boutique as well on Queen Street in Auckland. And I went in and I very politely asked if I could try that watch on. And I spent some time with it. And I'm going to show you guys today just a short video that I took wearing that watch, just a wrist roll really. But I'm also going to talk about my thoughts on that watch. And as you will probably know from another previous video that I've made, I once referred to that watch, and still do actually, as the Gollum watch, because I think it's one of those watches that as soon as you put it on, you turn into a Gollum. Now the question is, guys, and I'm sure you all want to know the answer to this, did it turn me into Gollum when I put that watch on? Okay, so the Gollum watch, did it turn me into Gollum when I put on the Rolex Gold Deepsea? Guys, yes it did. I absolutely 100% turned into Gollum. I went from being Smeagol, you know, the happy hobbit, fishing on the lake, wandering down Queen Street, and all of a sudden I saw the gold ring in the shop window, and I put it on my wrist and I suddenly turned into Gollum. I was speechless, guys, but I'll qualify this by saying it's beautiful. I absolutely love this watch, and as soon as I took it off, I just went back to being Smeagol the Hobbit again. So yeah, just rest assured, guys, I'm going to carry on making videos. I'm not going to head off to some cave now and start eating raw fish that are raw and wriggling, and you can keep your nasty chips. No, absolutely no. As soon as I took it off and I gave it back to the AD, and I said, thank you very much, thanks for letting me try that on. I came back to normal, guys. But make no mistake, guys, this is one heck of a beautiful watch. I absolutely loved it. I was mesmerized by it, actually. And there's a few things, I've got a few notes here. There's a few things that I wanted to talk about that watch. One is, of course, and this goes without saying, it's a big watch. It is a big watch. The dimensions of that are absolutely not diminutive like my 36mm Datejust. This is a big watch. This is a big boy watch. It's heavy as well, of course. It's in solid gold. It's pretty much all solid gold, apart from the case back, which is RLX titanium. It's a heavy watch. Now, the interesting thing is, I put that watch on my wrist, and I'll put some pictures up, and I did do a wrist roll video as well. I'll just run that as we're going through this. But yeah, guys, one thing that struck me straight away, lots of things that struck me straight away. One was that I've got a 7.2-inch wrist. It fit my wrist perfectly. When I put it on, it fit my wrist perfectly. There are no spare links on this bad boy. There are no spare solid gold links with this watch, guys. It's designed to fit a normal sized wrist, and I think if you had a big wrist, you'd probably be needing to look at ordering some extra links for it, which I thought was quite funny, actually, that they're going a bit stingy on the gold as well for a 96,000 New Zealand dollar watch. But it's a big watch. It fit beautifully on my wrist. I have to say, it hugged my wrist really, really nicely. I was very impressed. One of the other things that really impressed me was the dial and the bezel. They are I know I keep using superlatives with this watch, guys, as I do with most watches. Actually, I use superlatives probably too much, but it's not an exaggeration to say that the dial and the bezel on this watch are stunning. They're a lovely, it's another superlative, they're a lovely deep but matte blue. And actually the AD pointed it out to me, Sam, who showed me the watch. It's not a glossy blue, it's actually quite a matte hue, but the actual colour that they've used, the type of blue that they've used, the exact sheen that they've used is gorgeous. It's so deep and mesmerising. It absolutely fits perfectly with the gold. So this combination of gold and blue, which you'd think might be a little bit garish potentially. Not that you could ever say that it's not a garish watch, but those two colours combined actually combine really, really well. Very impressed with that. Yeah, and the other thing was, although it was heavy, it didn't feel too heavy. It didn't feel like I was wearing a brick on my wrist, and that surprised me a little bit. I once put on a 40mm day date in solid gold, and that felt really heavy. This actually, surprisingly, although it's a bigger watch, it didn't feel quite as heavy, and I think that a lot of that is actually just to do, with the design and the fact that it just sat so nicely on my wrist. It's a watch that's made for me, guys, really, isn't it? Let's be honest. I think I really should sell everything I own and go and buy that watch, if indeed I'd be allowed to have one, because they are not going to be available in any great numbers. Now, guys, I'm going to kind of finish this to a degree and say, as much as I love that watch and as much as I thoroughly enjoyed putting it on, and it actually feels to a degree, and this is not an exaggeration, it does feel to a degree like a bit of a privilege to have put that watch on and tried it, because I probably won't get another opportunity to. I was kind of going away and thinking to myself, well, when would I actually wear it? Even if I had the resources and even if I could afford it, when would I actually wear it? I'm not a sort of a guy of very high pretense. I like to stay at home in the evenings and watch TV. I like to go and watch my boy play football and I coach his football team. I like to go out kayaking on the water on a nice day. I don't know when I'd wear it, guys. I just don't know. I just don't know in what set of circumstances that watch would ever be appropriate for me to wear. I don't really go anywhere fancy. I don't go to fancy restaurants. I don't go to cocktail parties. And I very, very rarely get invited to anything, to be honest with you. I mean, boo-hoo. But when would I actually wear it? So... So this watch would absolutely 100% be a Gollum watch for me. The only time I would wear that watch if I owned it would be in my own home, in my little cave, with a raw trout next to it, my next meal. And I would just sit there on my own and ogle this watch. I would just adore it. I would just be fascinated and mesmerised by the dial and the bezel. But no one would ever see it. It would never see the light of day. So it's kind of, for me, it is 100% the Gollum watch. It is the Gollum ring. It's the one ring that rules them all. It turns you from Smeagol to Gollum, and that's exactly what it would do to me, as much as I'm absolutely mesmerised by it, which is another indication that it is absolutely a Gollum's ring watch, isn't it? Now, I'm going to finish on one last thought, and this is more of an exciting thought. Now that I've tried this watch on, I was kind of thinking to myself, why did they choose the Deepsea? It's such an unusual, kind of out of the left field watch, or a left field model for Rolex to decide that they wanted to make a solid gold version of that. And it got me thinking, what if they made a solid gold Explorer, solid gold Explorer 36. Now, I know they already do a two-tone Explorer 36, but that's a two-tone. I'm talking solid gold here, which is a completely different kettle of fish to two-tone. And you know what I'm talking about here, guys. A two-tone is kind of, it's a hybrid, isn't it? It's not quite sure what it is. And that's how I feel about two-tone watches, actually. They're not quite sure what they are. They're half gold, half steel, two completely different metals. And that's why two-tone is still a bit of a struggle for me, even though I've had some absolutely gorgeous two-tone watches. For me, you either go steel or you go solid gold. And so I'm thinking, what if Rolex made a solid gold Explorer 36? I think that would be a winner. a winner, and they'd probably charge what, 4 or 5 times the price of the steel version. They'd make it in very limited supply, of course, but that would be such a desirable watch. I mean, a watch of, I mean, this is a Datejust 36, a watch of these proportions in solid gold as an Explorer, which is still a sports watch. It would almost, I kind of think if they kept the black dial, that would be really quite stunning. That would be very sporty. But what if they did a solid gold Explorer 36 with the same blue dial that they've done on the Deepsea? Now that would be something else. That would really be something else. I think that would almost, for me, be a watch that I would absolutely 100% aspire to own. And I actually have a feeling that with those dimensions, you could almost pull it off in some settings, in some scenarios. You could almost pull that watch off in less formal occasions as well. So yeah, just going to leave you with that thought, guys. Going back to the Deepsea, yeah, terrific, stonking watch. Really enjoyed wearing it, actually. I didn't want to give it back. Don't have the money to buy it. Even if I did, it would just turn me into a cave dwelling Gollum, so I can't let that happen, can I? You know, especially when I might live in New Zealand, but I'm trying to avoid, you know, ending up in a cave just ogling at a solid gold watch. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. By now you will have seen a few images and wrist rolls of me when I tried it on. Let me know what you think. It's certainly a watch, I think, that polarises opinion out there amongst watch collectors. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Like and subscribe and do all those, you know, fancy things if you like what you see. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Cheers.